Hi everyone, we're broadcasting live from the Infinity Festival in Hollywood. I'm Erin Riley on the advisory board and also a professor and founding director of Texas Immersive Institute at University of Texas at Austin. I'm hosting the podcast here at the show. We're bringing Silicon Valley innovators together with Hollywood storytelling professionals, taking over one city block in the heart of Hollywood. Today I have with me Jenni Ogden from 40 Fun Inc. Welcome, Jenni.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to jump into anyone that's got a company named 40 Fun Inc. Sounds like it's going to be a fun conversation. So tell me a little bit about your company and what you're currently working on.
Okay, so 40 Fun has a volumetric capture stage. We're based in Culver City, not far from here. And what we're doing is capturing performances. We're working a lot in music, also comedians and everything else. Volumetric capture is a stage that captures the volume in a stage. So we're bringing live performances into VR platforms. It's a 3D representation of a live performance, and it's not an avatar, it's not a cartoon representation, it's an actual performance. So it's definitely next level, a little bit different than what you typically see. We're building also a platform. The platform should be releasing in January, and we'll have hundreds of concerts that people can go in and experience in volumetric 3D performances.
Yeah, I find actually celebrities, especially musicians, have really embraced the metaverse and are using volumetric capture, like what you're offering at 40 Fun, to reach their audience. I would say a new audience, but I think actually it's probably their kind of key audience. Am I correct?
Yes.
So are we talking like what your would you call yourself a studio?
Yes.
Okay, what your studio is doing is something like, if people are familiar with what Travis did in Fortnite.
Yes.
Yeah?
So if you think about Travis Scott, which frankly was the largest concert performance in the world, 48 million people got to see that performance. The difference from what we're doing and what Travis Scott did in Fortnite is Travis Scott did a technology called motion capture. Okay. And so what he did is he put on a bodysuit with sensors on it, and he did his performance. And what came out of it 5 months later was a cartoon of Travis Scott performing for 10 minutes in the metaverse or in-game. What we're doing is a little bit different because we're not putting people in suits, we're not doing motion capture. What comes out is not a cartoon of a performance, it's the actual performance, but it's the actual performance in 3D space. So in other words, just like the Travis Scott performance, people can walk around in 360 degrees, they can free roam, they can fly over it, they can go to these concerts with their friends in a social VR experience, but it's not a cartoon.
So are you telling me, like, I'm a big fan of Shakespeare Theater in the Park, right? Mm-hmm. And are you saying that Shakespeare Theater in the metaverse is the next wave of what maybe you're working on?
This is the future.
Okay, let's unpack this a little bit. Why? We've just I can understand that the pandemic, really kind of put us all on screens, right, and into kind of these virtual spaces. And now we're shifting and we're finally here live together and really kind of having that social connection. If it's the future, how are we going to blend this physical and digital space? What is that going to look like?
Well, I think that live performance is never going to go away.
Okay.
There's an energy there. It's a totally different experience. What we are able to do in the metaverse, or we like to call it the multiverse.
I like that so much better.
Yeah. It's not a walled garden. It's
yes.
not. It can't be owned by anybody. It's for everybody, and it's cross-platform. It's device agnostic. It shouldn't be. We're building the metaverse, and we're going to own it.
Right.
You can't own the metaverse. So.
Are you listening, Mark Zuckerberg?
Yes. Can't own the metaverse. So anyways, what we're doing is we're creating, it's really an open creators platform, and we're taking these volumetric performances, we're minting them as NFTs, and you can go into this platform, and you can go in with your friends, it's a social VR experience, and you can choose to purchase an NFT performance of your favorite artist. And then you can go into the platform and become a promoter, just like a concert promoter in the real world. And you can host concerts and ticket them. So then you can show off the NFT you just purchased, which is a volumetric performance. Then you can also monetize it, and everybody wins. So the artist wins, because just like a live performance, the ticket sales, the artist gets a split of the ticket sales, a fair split, and so does
Oh,
the
I like
promoter.
That, a fair split.
Yes, and it's all minted, in Ethereum on the blockchain, totally transparent, and everybody gets paid immediately.
So, you're bringing me back to, maybe 5 to 10 years ago. One of my, it has to have been a decade ago, but I remember probably one of the most impactful, I wouldn't say the first, but impactful VR experiences I had was when I put it on and I was on stage with a band, right? I actually got to look around and from different perspectives really stand right next to, the musician while he's singing the song. It sounds like that's what you're offering. I can get my favorite band in my living room with my friends,
Yes.
which I'm lucky I've been able to be invited to some of those real living rooms, but it's very rare, and it's a real special treat. It doesn't happen on every Saturday, right?
Right.
So you're telling me you're offering a chance to really choose my favorite musician, invite them into my home, and then invite my friends to my kind of private party.
Well, so that's the future, the spatial computing future. So we are definitely building for the future. So the immediate, the right now, is the VR experience.
Okay.
That's where you're put into a virtual environment. But the future is spatial computing, so you can have your favorite artist literally in your living room because everybody's going to be moving to glass.
Yes.
This
I'm obsessed
is
with augmented reality.
this is the pager.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, your mobile device you're holding up is the pager.
Yes, exactly. So if you think about, MTV, this is one of those moments in time where innovation and technology is really driving entertainment to the next level. So if you think about the MTV generation, and
I was part of that generation.
I was as well. There was that moment in time where people said, wait, does this replace the record? Does this replace something else? It didn't replace it, it was the videos, what you saw on MTV, drove the fan base even further, and they bought more records and they listened to more music. So right now, the idea of having virtual concerts is not going to replace the live concert experience, but what it's going to do is it's going to blow the lid off of capacity limitations and location limitations. So you can still see your favorite band even if they're playing in a different country, or they can't travel, or maybe you can't afford to travel or buy that very expensive ticket. And you can also relive that experience. You go to your favorite band's concert, and then you want to experience it with a different set of friends, and you can do that in the platform. In VR, you can still have that shared experience. And if you think about what Travis Scott did with 48 million fans got to attend that performance in Fortnite, you're removing all limits. There's not a venue in the world that can host 48 million fans.
Right, and that was in real time in that moment. Think of all of the replays that have happened since then with the blow up of what he did.
It's insane. So, if you want to have a real concert experience, not watch an avatar perform,
Yes.
then you can go in. You can go in and see your favorite guitar player play.
Yeah.
You can play it over and over again. You can learn how to play the guitar by watching your favorite artist play the guitar. And then in the future, when everybody's moving to glass and everybody will have their computing power in their glasses, then you can have a shared experience. It's like the ultimate house party. And all of the content that we're capturing now is going to be ready simultaneously for that future.
Right. I think of it like the silent disco, right? Where everybody puts on the headset and we're all kind of in there jamming together. But now we put on our glasses and we can totally jam and see our latest musician.
And it's a shared experience.
Shared experience. And I think that's what's really important. So shared experience, but also like I love that you're saying it's real. It's not animated. Because I think a lot of people, when they think about this multiverse, which I love that you're saying that because it's many metaverses, right? It's many worlds you can walk through and play. We do lean into virtual beings, right? I'm even a little obsessed with virtual beings and thinking about how I can play with my digital identity. But, I'm curious about the reality of like having a physical person of a celebrity in that space with me, because I wonder if it'll be a more emotive connection.
Absolutely, because when you look at an avatar, you're not getting that connection that you do when you're seeing somebody's real eyes. It's not the dead eyes of a cartoon character. You can walk right up to them. You can enjoy the music. You can get up on stage with them. You can learn how to play guitar by watching up close and personal. So that's something you can't get in a live concert, right? But you can get like the 360 VR experience you had where you got to be on stage next to the artist. You get to be that up close and personal with them.
And I can change my point of view at any time because I'm in a 3D space with them.
It's free roaming.
Yeah, free roaming. And is it also, we've been talking a lot about like the visual appeal of it, but being in a 3D space, and you're talking about music, is also related to sound, right? So is it ambisonic sound that surrounds me, and depending on how far I move?
Spatial audio, yes.
Spatial audio.
Absolutely. So spatial audio, very, very much like being in a real concert. If you turn your head this way or walk away from the stage, it's, going to be not as loud.
And not just with music. So like, I love this as a yes and approach, right? That we're not going to replace the animation of the virtual beings. We're adding a whole nother layer of being real people in these multiverses. I did a lot of research on empathy in virtual reality. And instead of standing in someone's shoes and being that character, what we found is walking alongside someone, like with Clouds Over Sidra, really getting to know Sidra, really fostered more longer-term empathy. So do you think that your studio cannot just capture entertainment for entertainment purposes, but could it extend into other verticals like mental health, right?
Absolutely. And so the stage that we have, it's a state-of-the-art AI-driven volumetric capture stage. So every time we do a capture, we're also training that AI. So in the future, it won't be only enjoying that concert, but direct eye contact with that person. So, if you're thinking about, emotion and that personal feeling of connection, if you're in a concert, a good performer's looking at everybody, and everybody thinks that for one moment they looked them in the eyes, right?
Yeah.
And it's powerful.
Oh, that's love, right?
Exactly. It's powerful. So, not far into the future, then we'll be able to add that level of emotional connection.
Well, okay. Speaking of AI, I think about. Do you know of like the digital testimonies that came out of USC Shoah Foundation?
Yes.
And they recorded all of the Holocaust survivors, a ton of footage. And I believe Heather spun it out into StoryFile, which is AI driven to be able to have conversations. Are you saying like the technology you're building with the AI, if we get a musician in there, could I go back and talk to the musician even if they're not there live recording it?
Yes, that's a future we're looking at. So let's look at the future where everything's going to glass.
Yeah.
Everybody's wearing their glasses. It's a shared spatial computing experience. but the AI's taken it to the point where you can go to that house party and look at your favorite artist and request a song. Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. So, talk a little bit about what does it take to build something like this? Like I have students who are like, how is this? How is this super made? Right?
So we've got a team of technologists. I'm not one of them. That are building the platform. The platform we're building is in Unity. And then we've got a blockchain team that's building the smart contracts and really understands the smart contracts and bonding curves and making sure that that smart contract follows the asset, the volumetric performance, wherever it goes. So that means that the artist whose performance it is gets paid every step of the way. So if they're doing a concert performance on the platform and there's a promoter that's purchased the NFT and they're selling tickets, that every ticket sale also automatically pays the artist.
Got it.
And so we have a team. We actually hired a team to handle our smart contracts and build this blockchain interface for us. The people that actually wrote the book on blockchain are working with us to build this out. Yeah, and so then we've got a whole development team that are working on the back end, and they're making sure that they're doing the coding so that everything functions correctly. And then we have the UI UX team that is looking at it from a creative standpoint. How does it look? How does it feel? What's the user experience? So all of those things, and then there's Unity developers, and then there's the actual volumetric capture stage, and also our AI team that's working with the data sets for the future.
So Texas Immersive teaches experienced designers on the future of emerging technologies. So
Okay.
I'm really curious to know what do you look for when you're hiring an experienced designer? This is a whole new area, So
What we're doing isn't something that you can usually learn at college because it hasn't been done yet. So we're looking at people that have some basis. They're Unity developers. They're creative. We'd rather teach the creative set the tech and the development. Developers are very creative as well. Actually, everybody on the team is very, very creative, and so making sure that you're feeding their creativity and then teaching them the tool sets as we go, because again, we're kind of reinventing the wheel here, or inventing a whole new kind of wheel.
yeah, and it sounds like you definitely are hiring slashers. They have to know something about the technology because you're dealing with multiple technologies. You're dealing with volumetric, AI, Unity. Did I get them all?
Yeah.
And then you're creating new use cases. So understanding the audiences that are going to embrace and adopt these first is really important, I guess, from an experienced designer perspective.
Yeah, creatively, what's the experience?
Yeah.
What's it look like? What's it feel like?
And then the NFTs. How many times can that musician who has a performance? Okay, so the musician gets on your stage, does the whole entire album, all the different songs, so I can ask them one day, play this song, even though it wasn't maybe in the short list, right? Or for encore, I want this one, right? How many people can actually become that promoter? And I just can see a ripple effect of money back to the artist into this project, right?
It's a full creators platform, so they can promote different concert experiences with that same performance over and over and over again. So then the artist can tour and do their live performances, or they can sit on the couch, but their volumetric performance can continue to perform and monetize and make them money, so they can continue to benefit from that. I mean, one of the things, especially in the music industry, and that's where my career started, and my business partner is a musician, and also a technologist and now CEO of 40 Fun. And one of the things that we all were disillusioned by in the music industry is that there's the record labels and the attorneys and the accountants and the managers and the agents. They all got paid before the artists got anything trickled down to them, and maybe skimmed along the way as well, right?
Yeah.
So we're kind of flipping that on its head. The artist, they own their performance. We take a small fraction of that performance. We open our doors to music artists for free. They come in, they do their performance, we mint the NFT, and we work together to provide. It's a new creators work environment. It's a new monetization
Do you
method.
ever compare yourself to like Spotify and Pandora as like this is the future of playlists?
It's definitely a future,
Yeah.
but unlike Spotify and Pandora and all of the other streaming companies, we're taking a small fraction, and it's
Right.
the artist that wins here. The artist should own their art. They should monetize their art. They should be able to benefit it. There shouldn't be, a famous artist living out of his car because he's broke, while the record label, owner is making $1 billion.
Right.
They should benefit from the work that they do and the art that they create.
And while we're focusing on music, just to kind of expand, what does your future look like? Like, I really think you're on to something. I think it's amazing that you're starting with musicians, having many musicians in my life, including my son, right? So like, I'm taking notes, but like this can be expounded to so many other places. Where do you want to take 40 Fun?
Where do we want to take 40 Fun? So, absolutely, we started with music for many reasons, because it's a passion of the whole team, and also because music's timeless. It's the
Music
one,
connects to culture. Yeah.
yeah, and
who we
it drives emotion, and it's also the one piece of media that you listen to and experience over and over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, you can read a book over, you can watch a movie over, but you listen to your favorite song over and over and over. And then if you hear it after a long time and
has
it comes
different
up,
feelings.
it really brings up
Yeah.
that nostalgia
Nostalgia.
and that emotion. It's just, music is so powerful. So what we're doing is we're revisualizing what music is. Instead of just being an audio experience, it's a full experience, and it's an immersive experience. So we started with music, but we're also bringing in comedians, because this platform can host all of the above. And then we'll be looking at immersive VR theater, and we're look at different kinds of cultural experiences. And honestly, the real future is glass. VR's the now. Glass is the future. The spatial computing experience is definitely going to be the future. And where that goes, anybody knows, but we're ready for it, and we're making sure that all the content that we create, that we partner with the creatives, the musicians and the comedians and the actors on, is ready for that future. So.
Well, I have to say 2 comments on that. One, I am totally following you forever now, because I think it's fascinating for 2 reasons. One, the music thing. All through the pandemic, my friends and I did this ongoing game with a Spotify playlist, tying to emotion, right? Like your first kiss, everyone posts their song, what song it was, And I think like to be able to, and I'm such a visual person, right? So to be able to like see the musicians or connect to music in a different way than just the sounds, to be able to have that party where we could talk about each other's songs, while having our own live concert would be amazing. So I can really see a future there. The other thing is what was I going to say? Is like thinking about the future with with like comedy and music, and going forward. I can't remember, but it's going to come to me, and I'm going to call you. We're going to have to continue this conversation.
Absolutely.
So, last thing, what are you? You're here at Infinity Festival. Do you have a panel going on, or anything we can follow up with you on?
Absolutely. So tomorrow at 4:15, there's a panel that I'm speaking on volumetric capture specifically. And earlier, my partner Paul, who actually did a podcast earlier as well, he spoke on the future of live immersive performance. So,
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're here at the Infinity Festival.
thank you.